Welcome, soul healers, to the HeartLed SoulFed Podcast. I'm psychic medium and old soul Christine Gold. This is a safe space to explore all things mystical and magical, embodying practical spirituality, and truly reclaiming who we are at a soul level. Living this lifetime heart-led and soul-fed. Subscribe on your favorite way to podcast and let the healing begin. Ah, lovely. Let the healing begin. Isn't that just what we all want? Welcome to the HeartLed SoulFed show. And I am not by myself today. I mean, are we ever alone? Come on now. Spirit is everywhere in everything. Energy. I mean, we're talking about this week's energy as well. We all know Pluto moved into Aquarius. And then we were celebrating a little bit before the show, talking about how the cardinal signs get a little reprieve. So yes, thank you so much for being here. If you are joining us live, please let us know and please share your questions, because my next guest, I was actually recently on her haunted road trip show, which you can find everywhere. YouTube, if you really love it. And it was a trip for sure. And my guest, Tracy St.Croi, is going to share her experiences as an evidential medium. Now you're probably like, what is that? Well, she'll tell you. She will share the healing power of connecting with loved ones in spirit, paranormal investigations, and I love this. Not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychic. And the many ways spirit wants to work with you to improve your life. And she is also, if you know this place, an Arthur Finley trained evidential medium, paranormal investigator, intuitive, based out of Austin, Texas, the big T. We love Texas. Everything's bigger there, everything. And I mean everything. And my favorite yoga teacher, Yoga with Adrian, is based out of Austin, I believe, as well. So what a connection. Anyways, enough about me. I'm going to be bringing on the beautiful, talented, and super funny Tracy. All right. Welcome to the show. Hi.
How is everybody? What a wonderful intro. Can you do that every morning when I wake up? Can you just be there to give me that every morning?
I would love to. I mean, it's almost like, when Jesus phones you, like you get those calls or happy birthday or whatever, right? So
Oh, yes, that is superior. And yes, Yoga with Adrian is here in Austin,
I
and she
thought
is awesome.
so.
She is very dominant on a playlist on my YouTube. If I can't get to the gym, I get to Adrian, is what I like to say.
Love it. Adrian and Benji. I mean, they're just yin and yang right there.
Awesome. I can't get enough of them.
Yes. Yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit more about how you tripped into being a medium?
I'm going to use that expression. How did I slip and fall and become a medium, right? How did I really like to say, the writing was written on the wall since I was a child, but sometimes we don't have that, we don't have the right tools to illuminate it all just yet. We got to pick up those puzzle pieces along the way. And that's a lot of what my journey was. I grew up, I was surrounded by cemeteries and funeral homes, which, prime breeding ground for imaginary friends that were not imaginary at all, and all the houses I kept living in, I was like, my parents, like, why do they hate me? Because they keep buying houses that are haunted. And like, I was always really into like the occult. And I remember, do you remember back in the 80s?
Oh boy.
I know. I'm bringing you back. Whoop, whoop. Let's do the moonwalk, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember that Time Life book series had a had like a whole book series about like ancient Egypt and
Oh, yes.
hauntings
Yeah.
and and like they had all of these topics, right? I remember I was like, I don't know what kind of chores I got to do to get this book about Egypt, but I need this book about Egypt. Like and ghosts and hauntings. Like I just remember as a kid I was always very curious and open. And I didn't grow up in a family that really celebrated that or nurtured that, which was also really interesting as well because the circle of life, you grow up and then the adults are like, oh, what a kid making up that stuff, huh? How does she know that shit?
We
Yeah,
gotta shut her up.
we gotta
Yep.
we gotta untrain this out of her, right? And so it was one of those childhoods. I remember I told my therapist at one point, who's also a shaman as well. So she says,
Amazing.
exactly. She was like, my joke is like, my therapist says I'm just fine, and she's a psychic medium too. um, exactly. And I told her, I said, the perplexity wasn't about like, am I seeing these things? Am I hearing? Am I knowing? My perplexity came with like, what's wrong with y'all that you can't see this?
Mm.
That was my thing. I was like, how can you not tell that this place is like got the oogity boogities? Like, how can you not tell like that dude just straight up lied to you? Like, it was very like, huh?
So why do you think people don't know? What's the problem?
I don't think that there's just one problem.
Mhm.
I feel, and I've seen and experienced for myself, it just comes down to a lack of education. It comes from, cultural and religious bias. It comes from, if I say that there's something unknown, that means I'm out of control and I can't control the situation, and then I have to admit that
Yeah.
I'm not number one. Or there's I think that there's just like that's a whole big ball of worms for each person. But I would say overall it's a lack of normality and exposure and education.
Yeah, and just trying to shut down I say it's our innate power.
It really is, because I
Yes.
tell people all the time that, like, especially people who come to my mediumship or my intuitive development classes, I love the beginners. I like to get a hold of the beginners before, like, they get into bad habits or
Kind of
yes,
like driving. Well, no.
exactly. I'm like, I like to give them a really good foundation to go forward on. And I feel that, you know, there's not one person, when I asked my student, there's not one person in the world who hasn't ever had a hunch or who hasn't ever had that, you know, I think I need to call my friend right about now. Something doesn't feel right.
Mm.
And maybe it's only one time in your life, but still, you heard, you got that ping, is what I say. You got that intuitive hit. So I just think it's about, starting to trust ourselves and normality about it.
Absolutely, and that not, "Oh, so and so is more intuitive than I am," or that guru status, like,
I,
I mm,
you know, I I can I can go back to a lot on that, because I can look at myself as like when I was a newbie and I
yeah.
was just in my first development class, which was absolutely hilarious how I ended up in there. Um, and I remember like thinking like, "Oh my God, like how could I have not had all this training all my life, and where I could be and where I am, and I wasted so much time, and look where I'm at now, and I'm having to make up for time and all of that kind of stuff." But and I thought like, oh my God, that person over there, they're a really good tarot reader. And oh my God, that person over there is just really good at their abilities. And I'm not, but what I've realized is everybody has their gifts. Everybody has their subsection of gifts, and it's going to be a niche, and just develop that, because there is, well, okay. Is there such a thing as such and such is more psychic than somebody else?
Hmm.
I I wouldn't say more psychic. What I would say is more aware and
Hmm.
vocal about it.
More attuned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
It has nothing to do with I'm good, that person's not, that person's good, or that person was born under this sun sign with this combination of planets, and I have a square conjunct my whatever, so I'll never be able to do it. No.
Yes, I know. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh out loud, but I am. Tracy is as funny virtually as I'm sure she is in person. I just love you. I just love you. You're great. You're like a sister from another mister.
Yes, I love
Truly.
it. I'll do it. I like to have laughs, because I say, like, we've all been through some shit, man. All of us. And we've
Absolutely.
gotten this far, and we deserve to laugh, and we deserve to have a bit of fun.
Hmm. Okay, let's say that again. And how are we going to have fun? I want to hear from everybody. Let me know what your version of fun is right now. How about you, Tracy? What's your version of fun then?
I dance, and then I pretend like I can sing like Whitney Houston, Celine
Oh,
Dion, Adele. Oh
nice.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Ooh, we're gonna have to
You
do
should
like a
see the things.
karaoke thing.
I know. No, you probably don't, because in real life
Oh,
I'm scary.
oh my goodness.
God gave me a voice to speak, not to sing.
Oh, and you know what? I actually interviewed a lady 2 years ago. She's a vocal coach, and she said everybody can sing. It's just a matter of training. And I'm like, I'm gonna send you to her. No, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I will take on hey, look, I'm a Gen Xer, don't dare me.
Oh, me too. What? Say what? No, sorry.
Exactly. Half
Is that
barrel
a
drinking out of a
challenge? I
hose. Yeah.
accept. No.
Our clock
Oh,
was a
wow.
street light, and
Drank out of a water hose and made mud pies, and I got
it's
called a tomboy, but I
yeah,
played with Barbies. Hmm.
half feral too. We were about half feral, sat in the
Yeah.
woods, drank in the woods a lot, got into cars we shouldn't have, people we shouldn't have.
We had lots of guardian angels, did we not? Lots of
When
protection.
I look back, I am like, "Oh my," like, I've got purposes on this planet, and
Yep.
I have evidence to prove it, 'cause I'm here.
Yes. Thank God. Thank God you're here. And
I
thank God
am.
anybody else who's listening or watching and feeling like they don't belong, they don't fit in, they don't
Yeah.
want to be here. Please, 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 please know that you're here for a reason. Um, so did you want to explain, I mean, maybe to people that don't know what, I mean, I know what it is, but what is an evidential medium?
Well, an evidential medium talks about it says it's what? Evidence. So
Yes.
I was when I got voluntold, okay? Yeah.
I've been there. Yeah.
When I got voluntold, "Hey sister, this isn't an option anymore. Like, here's what you're going to do." Because my life got real difficult, and I thought I could give God an Excel spreadsheet and be like, look at this pretty plan I have for my life. And Spirit just said, we're going to do this. Yeah. There's some good things on here, but for the most part, and so I said, when I finally surrendered, and I said, "Okay, Spirit, if I'm going to do this, I am only going to get trained from the cream of the crop, and I'm going to get trained from the best and the best in the world. And I'm going to learn this craft, and I'm going to hone this craft, and I'm going to be a bad bitch. And I'm going to know what the fuck I'm doing before I get in front of the public.
Yeah.
And I, knew about Arthur Finley, and I said, I need to go over there. I need to go there a few times. And just synchronistic events always set up in my favor to get me over there, and the cash came in, and like everything was.
Yeah, everything was aligned and lined up. Yeah.
Everything was just perfectly aligned and lined up, and I am utterly grateful for that training, because what Arthur Finley's run by the spiritualist church, and the spiritualist church, do a little back digging. I mean, they were the first that came out in the mid 1800s, where talking to deceased loved ones and intuitive work was a part of their practice. It was how they communed with a God of their understanding. And plus the British, let me tell you what, they like, they're not going to let you slack on anything over there. And
I bet.
we call it spiritual boot camp,
Mm.
because literally it's like, you get in there, you get a map of the place, because it's so darn big. It is a castle. It's a truly haunted castle with its own cemetery.
So cool.
And you make your way back down to the classrooms. I dare say classrooms, because they are not what you picture in your mind. They're these large, opulent, 18th century type of huge rooms that you're collecting in, and they have these platforms and everything. And they go in and they basically sort you, like at Hogwarts, right? Like, who has what experience and what are you here for, and da 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 da. And they sort you and sift you, and you go to your respective places for that. And then you think like, this is gonna be we're just gonna chill and get to know each other. Wrong. You are going to work. I remember one time I went there, and we were sitting down, and I was chatting with the lady next to me, and I knew right away. I said, I gotta save my voice. I said, she's about to call me up to do platform mediumship. She goes, you think? She goes, yep, Miss St.Croi, you're on stage. And I mean, they don't play. Like, from minute one to minute done, you're working at the intuitive gym, and they are really teaching you how to hone in on getting evidence, and what that actually evidence is. Because anybody could say, oh, I have your gran here, and she was really loving, and she loved to bake and used to kiss you at the front door, and she smelled like cookies, right? Anybody could say that, right?
Of course.
But what we were taught was those are great things about their characters, right? But let's bring in, like, well, how old was Granny when she passed? And what's maybe a name or initial? Where did she live?
And how did she pass?
How
And
did she
what was
pass?
her career? These are things, like a tattoo, things that no one would know. And I work the same way.
Yeah, things that you bring through to help, what we were told, help building the story, building the session around that. And what we were taught to do is, you get 5 pieces of absolute evidence. You need 5 unequivocal yeses to move forward with that person, to be able to place that spirit with that person. Then you continue on into the message about what, because you want to make sure you got the right spirit with the right human.
That's right. And it's all about placement. I went through 6 months of boot camp. So not with Arthur Finley, but I had to prove. And my mentor, she sent me 2 of her own clients. And I was like, oh boy, this is big.
Oh boy.
But I became certified. So I got over myself, and here we are.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. It's, not the Jedi mind trick, but the ego mind trick.
And that's what we were taught. We were taught, if you're thinking, you're not Lincoln.
Oh, thinking, not Lincoln. Love that.
Yep. If you're
Love that.
thinking, you are not linking with spirit.
Mm. So
And
let's remember that, and let's make a quote and a t-shirt, everybody, and,
right.
and a sticker, and make sure you remember that.
That's
So
right. If you're thinking, you're not linking. And it takes, and I want to tell everybody out there, it takes a long time to develop really, really well. Like, very rarely, I'm sure that there are people who just wake up and are able to do this stuff. I'm sure that there are, but a lot of people need, help, because there's a lot of things that can happen in the middle of a reading that can throw a reader off, that can bust that link, or, it has to be this synergy between you, the sitter, and spirit
absolutely.
working this magic. And if there's any kind of start to be kinks in the hose, you, my darling, have to work with that. You can't
Yeah.
blame the client.
Absolutely not. No, and it's there's being prepared and being professional. Like, I had a code of ethics. I still believe in that. I mean, that's just who I am. I sometimes hold myself more to an account than others, and it's really hard. But that because we're the stuff that we convey, the messages we convey, you're dealing with someone's life. So
Absolutely. And that's what I was taught by all of my really good teachers, and especially during mediumship, that I like to share this story with my newbie students a lot, and I'll share it with your audience, is that
sure.
Arthur Finley has what I call a sister school. There is no actual, like, if there's affiliation, I don't know. I call this their sister school here in the United States. It's called The Journey Within. And it was started and run by a woman named Janet Nohavik. Rest her just God-loving soul. She passed recently, but I was
Mm.
so honored to be able to go to her in my beginning development and take classes from her and John Holland.
John
And
Holland, he went. That's right. I
yeah,
remember that now.
there's John Holland, Tony Stockwell. There's a lot of really unbelievably qualified tutors. And she shared a story, and it is in her book, about a woman came to her for a reading, and uh, it was only half-hour reading, and she, was getting to the end of the reading, and the woman was about to get up and leave, and Janet said, got a couple kids here. And the woman just kind of stopped in her tracks, and she went on to deliver a very, very heartfelt message about their passing and why they had to pass and all that kind of stuff. And the woman was just so grateful and thankful and was crying, and told Janet, she said, I had planned to commit suicide if I did not hear from my kids who had
Oh my
died.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And and it's not to scare you that you have to be perfect and get it right, because it is, spirit does have a role in who they bring through and what medium and things like that going on. But the point is that some people will take you with a grain of salt. Some people will take you as the word of God. And you have to be very careful with that power that you have, because people will make life decisions based upon what is said and not said. And I'm not saying that we have to take responsibility for other people's life choices, but you need to know that what you say has powerful intention to change somebody else's universe.
Mm-hmm.
Use that power wisely. Use that power with grace, with compassion, with integrity. Use it that way.
Yeah. No, very, very well said. Because there's a lot of noise out there, and when you
Girl,
kind of get rid of the noise,
all you got to do is pop on social media and you'd be like, what in the
yeah. What in the AF, as they say,
Yeah, I'm
is
like,
going
I'm
on?
like, oh, I do sometimes I like to pop into people's lives and I'm like, where's your evidence at? I haven't seen any evidence you haven't brought through, like on TikToks and things like that. I am.
Oh, yeah, you got to go follow her on TikTok. She does some fun stuff.
I'm the pot stirrer. I'm like,
You're like me too. My son is always like, "Mom, why do you do that?" I'm like, when I'm sitting at a table with a bunch of strangers, I throw things out there on purpose just to see what kind of a reaction I get and the body language. And then I start reading everything and I'm like, "Okay, I know what I can say and what I can't say." Because I'm not here to defend myself or argue with anybody. But it's just, and my son's like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "For fun." Everything is fun. Everything is a game. I'm not like twisting people.
no,
I
I'm not.
am, yeah.
For me, I'm like, I'm looking at, I look at the so-called medium who's delivering, so-called messages, and I'm looking at them as if they're kind of my student, and I'm going, you haven't brought any evidence through. Like you have like like you how are you
Harsh.
giving a message when you don't even know who you're talking to?
True, true. And I just want to bring this up. I don't channel celebrities.
Yeah.
But recently when Matthew Perry passed, I was in the bathtub and he
Okay.
came through.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I want to say about that is what I said. Most people were like, "Oh, I loved him. He was part of my youth, my adulthood." And I told, like, he felt like he was my brother. Truly,
Right.
just his personality, who he was. I really, in the show, his character, everything. I was connected to him clearly. But when, the, as it was going through the videos, people were like, "Oh no, he didn't drown. He didn't take drugs. How dare you?" And then when the autopsy came out, I didn't say anything. I just sat back.
Right.
Because you know
Like,
what? I don't make this up. This came through me. I am just a vessel. I am an avatar. So
right.
when it came up that yes, he was under the influence and he had water in his lungs, drowning lungs, take your own interpretation. But what I came back and I said, here's the autopsy results. Mm,
Crickets, huh?
yeah, pretty much after that. Yeah. But I just find it very interesting that we're trying to bring peace to people, but there's so many people that are not at peace. They're just looking for ways to pick everything and everyone apart. So,
Exactly.
full stop. I'm stepping back from that.
Oh
But
yeah, no,
somebody asked me to do Lisa Marie Presley. So I'm like, okay, we'll see.
we'll see. And I mean, there is a difference between it's so funny. Like um I'll have interesting dreams about celebrities that are either some still living and some are past that are
Yes.
giving messages to me about my life. Like, maybe, for instance, I was a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, still am a huge
Mm,
Jimmy Buffett fan. So since he has passed, I've had a few like really what I call experiential dreams with him where he's just kind of popping in some advice or throwing a song of his in my mind that helps me solve a problem or whatever it
I
may
love that.
be. Yeah. Or sometimes I have had deceased celebrities come to me before their news breaks of their death, but I'm not out there on the mean streets of social media, going, I've got to talk to this person. And first off, you don't know them, so you have no evidence about their life except for what has been publicized. And second
Exactly.
off, you don't have a friend or family that's doing a reading, so how disrespectful is that? Like,
Hmm.
really, like, ew,
Yeah. Yeah, I
gross.
agree. I agree. I don't walk up to someone and say, "Your grandma has a message for you." No. I feel you on all
Yeah,
levels.
like it's interesting, but I'm like, if there's not a purpose about healing or helping or
Yeah.
really being of service to like my
Service.
spirit or you know that person, it's like I just anyway. I have feelings about that kind of
Of
stuff when I
course.
see it.
I'm so glad that
I have
we're
very
bouncing
strong
this. This is
feelings being a
great.
Scorpio rising and 3 planets in
Oh,
Scorpio, so I'm like, I
okay.
got feelings about this.
Yes, I get it. The water and the underworld. I get it. I get it. Mm,
I know, but
very powerful energy though. So I appreciate that. So we're gonna like shift
Okay.
into like paranormal investigations about your TV show that I was saying before the show that I can't wait to watch. So please talk about that. And I have some
Yeah.
thoughts about I've watched those paranormal, those other ones on TV, and I'm just going to put it out there. When I'm working with spirit, I send them back to the light. And maybe you can tell me why they don't do that on the show. Or is that normal or not normal?
Wow, those are lots of questions
I
right
know.
there. And let me know if there's any comments coming in from
Yes,
the
if anybody
audience.
has questions of their own other than mine, please,
Yes, let us
we would
know.
love to know.
Um, I have a podcast called Haunted Road Trip Show, which you can listen and view on YouTube, Spotify, all the known suspects
Yep.
of things. You can even catch my episode with your lovely host as well.
Yeah, that was a fun show.
Yes, it is. I love having fun guests like you on. And I am also currently in the midst of filming season 1 Haunted Road Trip Show, which is on site
What?
paranormal investigations, and will be debuting on Binge TV here this springtime, y'all. Yes,
Can't
yes,
wait. Can't wait. We'll get all the links. We'll drop everything in when it's
yeah,
ready.
yes, yes, yes. So so your answer, like, of course I've watched paranormal shows. Like, I love to sit there and judge people on TV. Who doesn't, right? If I'm being
Yeah.
honest, yes.
Judge and more like questions. I'm like, how
Yeah.
come? Why? I feel like a 5-year-old, but why? But why?
Yeah, it's not more like you know what? No, I'm gonna roll that back because I can be pretty judgy when it comes to a few of those shows. For other
Okay.
shows, I'm like I'm more like curious about, like, I would have liked to have known more about that
Yeah. Okay.
situation.
Mhm.
So the way so of course I watched him, and what I realized about him, what I really liked about him was I liked, I liked the tech evidence, and I liked that kind of aspect in the video and the EVPs, and I liked all of that kind of stuff. But what I wasn't seeing that I really wanted to put in there was there wasn't much heart. And I'm not talking about
Mm.
all of these shows. There are a few shows that are just like near and dear to me, and I love watching them because they have a lot of integrity and they're done very, very well. But I didn't see a lot of solution. I saw problem, bigger problem, escalate, bigger problem, dump it on owner and or
And
whatever.
run away. No, sorry.
Bye. Peace out. Oh, here's a shaman's number. You might want to give them a call. What the? Like, it probably was like £1,000 phone for them to pick up to call y'all, and now you want them to call a shaman and they don't even know what. Anyway, I had it was very inconsistent, and I didn't like a lot of the methods that I was seeing on there for investigating and talking to spirit. So it's like one of those things, like, if it ain't made, go make it yourself, right?
Love it.
And so through, COVID, it was kind of like, what do you want to do new with your life? And what do you want to make? And, now or never. Like, look, we're in a pandemic. It was literally like, if you die, what are you going to be upset that you didn't at least attempt to do with all of your heart?
That's right. Don't die with the music left in you.
Exactly. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for this. Because I was like, I looked at my life and I was like, I've gotten a lot of things that I've wanted, that I've really focused in on, and I can get this too. And so I wanted to put in to the shows something that a lot of them didn't have, or didn't have a lot of, which were highly qualified evidential mediums. So you
Mhm.
would see like this formula of a show where it was like problem, bigger problem, paranormal investigators come in, stir the pot,
Yep.
evidence. not much solution. They have some kind of psychic medium on there for about a minute and a half. And then here's your shaman's phone number. Bye.
Yeah. I think that's what I really, you explained exactly how I felt. Yeah.
And I was like, and I would watch those shows and I would get so frustrated as an evidential medium going, and I don't know, because I know when you film, there's a lot that ends up on the editing floor. However, I was like, they're missing things that would have been obvious to a well-developed medium about this house, about this person, about the dynamics, about the history, looking into it. And that was something else that I was like, not a lot of shows focused in on the history of the land, the history of the family, the history of,
Which is super important.
which is super important. There are a couple shows now that really focus in on it that I love, like Kindred Spirits. I absolutely
Yeah,
love
that there are a few. You exactly. I do love that stuff too.
I do love that. But I thought, why can't we reverse engineer this? And this is what my shows are about, we flip the pyramid where it's mediums, some technology, and loads of history.
Love that.
Where it's, investigating from our vantage point, not from somebody who is kind of like, well, there might be some things that go bump in the night and da 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 da. We're going in there with an open, skeptical mind.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's beautiful way. I mean, you gotta set the table up, really.
You really do. And that was something that I didn't see in a lot of these shows is, everything's about set and setting, right?
Mm.
Your attitude, what's your mind perspective? What are your expectations?
Have you cleared yourself? Are you attuned to the property and the energy? Not just going,
Exactly.
let's science this. No. Anyways.
No, like, have you ate properly? Have you taken care of yourself properly? And so I decided to, let's do a podcast and then let's also do some on-site filming. And it was just through like synchronicity that it was like, here you go, here's a place to put it, and we want you.
Love that. Love that. I know that there's a lot going on in where I am too. So, and Victoria, here's the thing. I feel we tend to pick places that need the most healing help. Do you agree?
To live at or to invest?
Yes, to live and to investigate. Like there's something there.
There's something that definitely pulls me to the investigations that I've done. And I would say, since I'm more aware and attuned of spirit energy, the places that I do live, they definitely needed the TLC that I'm able to at least bring to it energetically. If not, even if I can't, I don't have a green thumb. So even if I can't do a whole lot outside, I bring a whole lot of love.
You bring, your light, your love, your heart,
Yeah.
your energy. That's all that matters, right?
Yeah. So I definitely appreciate and love the land that I'm on and the lands that I've been able to investigate. So we're excited about the show. We can't wait.
Can you leave us any teasers or any highlights?
Well, I can, is that, I had always been on the fence about so-called haunted dolls.
Okay, yeah.
My mind has been shifted just a whole lot after some really interesting experiences with a toddler-sized doll in a case.
Oh, I'm thinking like Annabelle. Here we go. Yeah.
A spirit box involved for some good old-fashioned evidence. That was like, I was like, what? And also, too, how a place can be haunted and brand new.
Oh, absolutely. You don't know oh my God, the energy in some places. Like, I'm a nomad. I walk into a home and I'm like, whoa, I get hit. I'm like, okay, this whole place needs to be cleansed and blessed and smudged and chanted and healing frequent. Like, sorry, I just go crazy. And I do house clearings because a lot of people don't know what to do. and they feel this spirit or this demon, or and a lot of times it's negative energy that's just stuck. Many
Exactly.
times.
You
Yes.
know how many times I tell people, they're like, I got negative energy in my home. And I ask them, when's the last time you fully opened every single window in your house?
Yeah.
And they look at me like I'm a unicorn because I kind of consider myself a unicorn
Yeah,
anyway.
me too.
And I'm like, try it. Burn your favorite candle or incense. And if you don't like candles, you don't like incense, make your favorite meal. Fill that house
Boil
up with something you
pot
like.
of cinnamon sticks and star anise, and oh my god. Anyways, it smells
Yeah,
amazing.
make a simmer pot, right?
Yeah, simmer pot.
And you know, you would be amazed at what opening a window can do for a house,
Mm.
for clearing even out a room. Just, and I'm not saying that won't clear everything, but it will definitely bring a breath of fresh air, if nothing else, right?
Yes, yeah, and then have your intentions. I mean, it's everything. Like your home is a sanctuary. Please make it a sanctuary.
Right.
Mm.
And so you know, sometimes I tell people a lot, just start with the simple things. That's all. And like, not everything that goes bump in the night is, you know, something
Is a
coming
bump in
after
the
you.
night.
Yeah,
The
like it's
house does creak. I mean, when the furnace turns on, it makes all these noises, and you just get used to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, anyway, it's so funny because people are like, you know, like I'll have clients or even family members like, they are not after you.
Yeah, and why do people always assume that they're being, like, incarnated, or not even incarnated, being possessed, or do you think that's Hollywood? What do you think about
I
that?
think, okay, this is my speech about Hollywood. I
Okay.
love, who doesn't love a good movie like Barbie? Okay.
Yo, Barbie was fantastic. Yeah.
Yo, all right. Like, who doesn't love Hollywood? Hollywood is great for some things,
Mm.
but for um you know, giving accurate information about spiritualism and spirituality and mysticism, I'm going to give them a hard 2 on a scale out of 10. So they're,
Cringe.
yeah, so they're probably just at about an F, right? I'm not saying all the things, but I'm saying like a lot. And I tell people, look, I can prove it. Okay? I tell them whatever industry they're in or they have been in, tell me that you haven't watched shows about that industry and been like, that's not how we do it.
Mhm.
You know, that's not what happens. Hollywood is there to entertain us, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hollywood is there for us to be able to check out, educate. You know, they have their place, and I love, you know, who doesn't love it? I love Hollywood. But they've kind of scared the bejesus out of people. And you know, on a little bit more of a serious note, when people do call me about those types of things, honestly, the first thing that I'm assessing from a psychological level is like, am I dealing somebody with mental illness?
Yeah.
Am I dealing with somebody who's in a mental health crisis currently? Am I, you know, am I dealing with somebody who's having PTSD flashbacks? Because that can oftentimes be mistaken as something is attacking me.
Oh, yeah, that too. Or they feel they have a curse or some type of
Yeah.
attachment. Yeah.
And
Mm.
there's not to say that there aren't, you know, those types of energies out there and certain types of curses and things like that, but mostly we're cursing ourselves,
Mm.
folks.
Yeah.
And we're, you know, my guides told me in my last, I love plant medicine. So I do,
Ooh,
yeah,
I'm diving into that a little more with the
yeah.
microdosing. That's on my vision board for 2024.
We'll have a conversation after this.
Yes.
But in my last ceremony, my guides told me, they were like, you know, your body is your wand.
Mm.
It is all of your elements in one. It is water, it is earth, it is fire, it is air, it is everything all in one. Just point and direct it.
Love that.
Just point and direct it. Now, and sometimes, you know, depending on how we grow up, our our point, we
Kind
get,
of.
yeah, it gets pointed in odd directions. But I believe that this is what it comes down to. This and that can be true in the same space.
Yes.
But I'm one that I will go towards, like, is this something psychological going on first? Is this something environmental going on first before I'll start blaming the big D's, right?
Oh, absolutely. Hmm.
And the big D's, get your mind out of the gutter. It's the other D word.
Yeah, and I do a bit of medical intuition, so I tend to tune into the person days before, I'm getting migraines, my back hurts, crap like that. And then when I bring it up, they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, like you got to take care of yourself first. That's I think that's the biggest message I always tell people. Self-care is self-love. Self-love is self-care. No,
Yes.
it's not buying a pair of Jimmy Choo shoes or whatever those are. I don't even wear high heels, or going to get a massage. It could be a simple thing as cooking a beautiful meal, a healthy meal for yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
taking a nap.
Yeah. Stepping back from social media.
Mhm.
Except if you're listening to this podcast, do it
I
afterward.
know.
Give us a 5-star review. Thanks. Before you.
And for some reason, I wanted to ask you, do you want to be famous? Because there's this assumption that because the Tyler Henry or the Caputos of the world, that everybody or Colette Baron Reed, we all need to be that status or
No, we don't all need to be that status. And frankly,
mm,
that would be, like, poor Tyler Henry can't go anywhere
I know.
without being
And
recognized. Like,
he's such a beautiful person. Yeah.
there's fame comes with a high cost, right?
Yes,
You
it
got to
does.
look at what are you willing to give up in your life and what are you getting for it? You always have to really take your steps and precautions with that. Uh,
Absolutely. I think of Matthew Perry. He talked about that in great length. So,
did you ever hear about how he prayed and he got the role of Friends?
yes. Yep. I watched his documentary. I read some of his book. I had chills. I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god."
No, you don't, I always tell people, you don't want to be so famous you can't walk through an airport or go get a cheeseburger or like that's intense stuff. Like
Yeah.
that would be like a level of hell.
Very true, because I love my privacy. How about you?
I do. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want my photos splashed across some tabloid while I'm taking out my trash. Because I'm in my slippers and my messy bun, and
Mm.
I'm looking, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking like half of a tree monster out there. Like,
Tree
no,
monster. Oh my god,
you
that's
want
the
me to talk to your dead
swamp
grandma?
thing.
Yeah. You got dead people for me to talk to? What?
Oh, that's too funny. I feel, yeah, and I love, being alone, and I've heard
Yeah,
from some people recently, like some clients or just on socials there, that they're lonely, they have no friends, and I said, "That's part of your spiritual journey." It really is. I mean, you can be in a room full of 1,000 people and feel completely alone.
exactly. Look at Teresa when you watch her journey, right?
Mm, mhm.
She would go on tour all over Canada and the United States. And then when her and her husband got divorced, she had to come home to an empty house, and that really hit her hard.
Yeah, because she's a very social
She's a
butterfly.
very social person, and
Yeah.
she loves her family and she loves people and all of that.
Mm.
Uh,
Wow, wow.
and I mean, she was just meant to shine.
Oh,
There's just
absolutely.
some
I mean,
people
big
like
hair,
her.
don't care. I mean, her nails, she's just a big personality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is. You never want to sit behind her in a movie, though. You wouldn't be able to see over the hair. It'd be like sitting behind Marge Simpson or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, too funny. Well, before we say goodbye this time, I'm sure we'll do more things in the future. I heard that you might have a gift for us or for people watching or A little something?
I do. If you I think my link will be below. If you hit the link to my website
Yes.
and you sign up to be on the A list, which is another word of saying my newsletter, you are going to start to get all kinds of goodies, including copies of a mini copy, a little like a tapa of my book, 7 Tips and Tricks on How to Increase Your Intuition.
Love it.
And you can always find that on Amazon as well if you want to. I know if you want to spend a whopping $2.99.
Oh
I
no.
know, folks, but that is what I can give you. And also, too, if you join me on my TikTok, I also do a daily oracle card pull. So
Yes,
you
she
get
does.
a free oracle card every single day. And I always tell people, even if you're stuck on something, go pick one of those videos and see like, I need a message. Let me play this video and see what I can get off of this card this day. Just because it was one day doesn't mean the energy still isn't there to help you out.
Exactly. It's when you need it, the message shows up.
Yeah, it's like a living oracle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I always ask my guests, I know I already asked you what does magic mean to you, but this one I feel is pretty big.
Okay.
How can we as a collective energy for 2024 help make your dreams come true? Do you have a big
You
dream? Do you
mean
have a Moby Dick? Do you have a
do I? Do I?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I used to, yes, a few of them come, um, follow the podcast. And when the show gets released, just 5-star reviews everywhere, 5 stars and follows, Oh,
Okay.
that'll be, look at that. That's a nice little tagline, 5 stars and follow.
Oh, there you go. Love that. Love
Yes.
that.
Thank
So
you.
yeah,
Because,
please do that for her show. But I'm going to challenge, I'm going to push back a little bit and I'm going to
okay.
ask just for you, not about your business, not about anything else, just you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, um I want to take a really nice long holiday this year
Okay.
to a place of my choosing with people of my choosing and us having just ample abundance of everything we need to support us the whole entire way. I really want to take like that 15-20 day holiday.
Ooh, I love that. Now, is it on a mountain? Is it a beach? Is it in the middle of nowhere? Where is this?
It is definitely going to be jungly,
Hmm.
secluded beach with um access to four-wheel vehicles.
Okay. It almost sounds like South America to me a little bit, or Central
It would,
America.
yeah.
I've been, so we'll talk after. And we hold that for you, that you will
Yes,
go.
I will, and have some fun and bring back
Yay.
more knowledge for everybody.
I
That's
love that.
good
I love
service.
that. Oh my goodness, I can't believe an hour has already gone by so quick. Didn't feel like an hour, it felt like 5 minutes. I had such an amazing conversation with you. And is there any final words you want to leave with everybody? And then also anything else you'd like people to know about you? Or we know that your show is coming out as well. So, shine, shine, shine.
Yes. I'm just really grateful and thankful for everybody who listens to not only your podcast but comes over and, gives my show, my social media a try as well. I'm always stunned at how many people it's a weird thing. Like I just get so stunned like, "Oh, me?" Like, okay. And I just want people to know, like, if you do decide to like follow me in some kind of compassion, and it's really weird for me to still say follow, I'm a Gen Xer, right? Um, you'll be treated well. That's what I like to do. I like to treat my people good.
Yay. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And make sure you drop the links when your paranormal. What is the name of the show? Is it?
Haunted Road Trip Show.
Sorry?
Haunted Road Trip Show.
Okay. There. I'm
So
just
it's
making
gonna be
sure everybody knows.
it's a podcast now, and it's also an on-site filming. So like you can't mess the name up.
Yay. Okay, but I did. So
No.
here I am. I'm human. What? No, sorry. Anyways, thank you so much again, Tracy, for your beautiful, the work that you do, your beautiful energy, your beautiful heart, your beautiful self. And I can't wait to reconnect with you. And of course, all the links and how to follow and connect with Tracy is already listed. And if you have any other questions on the replay, we won't leave you hanging. We'll make sure we answer all of them. So have an amazing week, and everybody take care of themselves. And I'm sending lots of love. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.